Hello, and welcome to a fabulous government video about Congress. I am feeling great. Today, we're going to be looking at the House of Representatives and the Senate. We're going to be talking about their specific functions as well as the lawmaking process. So, starting off with the House of Representatives. And on your interactive notes page, you're just going to want to take notes on what we're talking about in that second column, okay? All right, so function and rules. The function of the House of Representatives is to make laws, right? Because as part of the legislative branch, that is their main responsibility. So bills can start either in the House of Representatives or the Senate. But if they do start in the House, then there's a certain process that has to happen. The rules in the House or the procedures that the bill process has to follow is based on precedent. And that word precedent, we've used it a few different times this year, but a precedent is a guideline or example upon which future decisions or actions are based. Okay. So the rules in the House of Representatives are based on precedent, and they are very, very strict because there are so many people in the House of Representatives. Leadership in the House. The House is led by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. That person right now is Nancy Pelosi. She is a Democrat from California. And the Speaker position is elected by the majority party. So, whatever party has most people in the House of Representatives, that's who gets to choose the Speaker or the leader. The Speaker is also third in line in the presidential line of succession. And we'll talk about that when I get back to school. We also have party leadership. So in the House of Representatives, the Democrats right now have the majority, which means there are more Democrats than Republicans. So the party leadership is split like this. You have a majority leader and a minority leader. The majority leader is the Democratic leader, and the minority leader is from the Republican Party. Their job is to help further their party's agenda to try to make sure that their bills are on the House floor. Next, we have the actual lawmaking process. And this is a little bit different than it is in the Senate. In the House of Representatives, this wooden box here, it's called the hopper, is attached to the speaker's desk. So like here's the speaker's desk and it's just like attached to the side. So if you want to present a bill or you want to introduce a bill, you have to go and put your bill in the hopper. It's almost like you're dropping it in somebody's mailbox and saying, "Hey, I want to pass this bill." After the bill is proposed by putting it in the hopper, then the House leadership distributes that bill to committees. So a committee is a group of congressmen that work together for a specific purpose, and the bills are assigned to committees based on the content of the bill. So if there's a bill that's like, hey, we want to pay teachers $500,000 a year, hoot, hoot, then that bill would probably be referred to the House Education Committee. Okay? Next, the bill is put on a calendar. So, depending on the content again of the bill, it's put on a calendar and then it's discussed. It's discussed before the entire House floor. After that, then they can vote on it. Next, in the Senate, I'm going to get this out of the way. There we go. Next, the Senate has some different procedures. So, the Senate rules are going to be a little more informal because there aren't as many senators as there are members of the House. Of course, their function is still to make laws. We have leadership in the Senate, just like we do in the House. The House is led by the Speaker, but the Senate is actually led by the Vice President. But the Vice President doesn't really have a responsibility in the Senate other than to cast a vote in case of a tie. Okay. So we also have somebody called a President Pro-Tempore, and that person is responsible for like filling in for the Vice President if they're ever not there. And that person is again, it's part of the majority party. So that right now is the Democratic Party in the Senate. You also have party leadership. You have the majority floor leader and the minority floor leader, and then you have assistant floor leaders. Again, the Democratic Party is in control of the Senate, so that's going to be a Democratic majority, Republican minority. And then the lawmaking process is kind of interesting in the Senate because, of course, you have to introduce it, but you don't have to put it in a hopper. You just have to get up and say, hey, I want to start a bill. Then the bill is put on a calendar for discussion. Then they get to debate it. But in the Senate, we have something called a filibuster. And we're going to talk about that more in class. But a filibuster is a way to stall the voting process. So if you don't want to vote on a specific bill, then you could just say, hey, I'm going to filibuster, or my party is going to filibuster. And that just extends the debate period for your bill. Okay. After the filibuster has ended, then it's time to vote. I will stop there. If you guys have any questions, let me know.